Today's episode is rather groundbreaking for the miniature railway. Quite literally. Welcome to In the Loop. Hello folks and welcome to the Watercress line. Now, before we find out a little bit more about the miniature railway's antics, it's time for a quick fire look around the railway to see what's been happening since the last episode. Well, what a fantastic weekend it was for our Diesel Gala, the 11th to 13th of July, with some amazing visitors, and fair play to everyone. It was a slightly toasty weekend, but big smiles all round. If you haven't seen our highlights video already, it's on YouTube now, so do go and check that out. And naturally, it would be rude not to end this episode with a small montage of some of our favourite moments. But before then, there's plenty more news to crack on with. Now, while we're up here in the diesel yard, this is probably an excellent opportunity to talk about a new fundraising appeal that the various diesel owning groups have put together. So 50, the 47, the 20s and the Hants unit. The idea will be to get some sort of undercover storage for the diesels to help protect their heritage, because it's all very well and good overhauling locomotives, getting them looking amazing, but frankly in the weather they will deteriorate. So they've launched a GoFundMe page. I'll put a link in the description and we will do an episode on this in the future. Over here in the boiler shop with our boiler for the Standard 4 75079, they're currently doing some work on the throat plate, which is this section here. Remember, this boiler is upside down, so this is at the front. You're not going to see it in service, but it forms part of the outer wrapper. Now the pressing themselves, they come sort of almost standardized, so you have to fit it to where it's going to be mounted and then fettle it so it fits perfectly, matches the profile it needs to, and then with a standard boiler you just weld it in place and you're good to go. And then there's a few other jobs to tick off the list as well, but all in good time. Another treat in the boiler shop is the tender for the 7F. The overhaul for the tender itself has already started. They're currently stripping down, drilling out rivets. There's a bit of corrosion and steel work to deal with, but nothing out of the ordinary. So naturally we'll keep you updated as they progress. Now, for the past few months we've had another visitor here in the boiler shop, which is this. This is a boiler from a Bagnall class locomotive. It's currently here doing some contract work for our friends at the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre, which involves some steel work, retubing and some work in the firebox as well. Now, it would be rude not to give a shout out to their YouTube channel, Quainton's Steam Works. So if you want to find out a little bit more about this locomotive and the works they've got going down there, then do give them a follow. Over here in the carriage works, 1456, the bullied first class open coach, that's come back in for a vacuum brake overhaul, which happens every 6 years. And this one, which is a Mark 1, it's a tourist second open, essentially a 4x4 seating open coach. That's come in for a bit more work, a mini overhaul if you will. It's been out of service for the last 2 years, waiting to get into the carriage works. Here you can see they're doing some work on the door pillars, which is why the doors are off. They're working on the flooring, and at the far end of the coach they're doing a few more bits. So let's take the opportunity and have a look. So here we are at the London end of the coach, which is where on this coach you can find the two toilets, which have been taken out for the works. On the loo front they have had the floors replaced, or they're going to be replaced. That's because the floor's quite rotten. You can read into that whatever you fancy. But they're also doing work on the crash pillars, which are here, and there's two on the other side and two at the far end as well. These are for the structural integrity of the coach in the event of an accident. If you really do want to have a Google, the word you want to look up is telescoping. Understandably, that's what these prevent. Now the crash pillars, they are covered on the overhaul side of things because, as you can see, everything has to be stripped down to get to them. Now the bits, a bit like boiler, the bit where they corrode the most is actually right at the bottom, and this is due to ash. Steam railways, locomotives emit ash and they get into every single nook and cranny. The gutterings get clogged up, they get cleaned out, and they find their way into cracks down there. They then combine with moisture, and that forms a sort of acidic compound which speeds up the corrosion process, only ever so slightly, but enough to make the difference. Now, crash pillar inspections are part of the inspection process in overhauls, so they're currently working through all of these, making sure they're fit for when this coach goes back out, because it has been in storage for a couple of years now, waiting for these works to be undertaken. Elsewhere on the coach, they're also doing some work on the toilets, as we've seen, and also the door pillars on the outside as well. So a fair bit of work to be getting on with, nothing our carriage team can't do, of course. And it's very interesting to see all of these coaches stripped back to their bare elements. Over here in Ropley MPD, you can see 506's boiler is now back in its frames with its new number 30506 on the smoke box. Further down, they're currently working on the cladding. They've put the last two bits on and they're currently fitting them in place, ready for a full repaint. So needless to say, when this locomotive does roll out of the shutter doors, it's going to look absolutely superb. Well, from one S15 to another, some exciting news for 499. As you can see, it has moved back into works here at Ropley MPD. Team here are now working on the next milestone, which will be re-wheeling the locomotive. There's a few steps to go yet, but it's all very exciting stuff indeed. Now the tender has been moved to where this used to be. They flipped it round so they can carry on the construction process. So some exciting news all round for our friends at the Uri Loco Society. Following on from what we saw in the boiler shop with 75079, the standard 4, the team are progressing well with the bottom end, so motion, wheels and all that jazz. However, there are a few elements to overcome. Now the team are setting up a Just Giving page to pay for a few elements. So the conrods, they need to go away for machining. We'd love to do them here, but unfortunately it's just a bit too big for what we can deal with. And it's stays again. Remember those 2,500 ones that Canadian Pacific needed? Well, mercifully, we don't need quite that many. However, there are still a few to go, tubes as well. So if you would like to further support this locomotive in particular, then I will chuck a link to their Just Giving page in the description below. Well, a lot happening here at the Watercress line. Now in today's episode, we're here at the miniature railway to find out a little bit more about the extension they've got in the making at the far end of the line. Now, understandably, it's a bit of a long walk. So right on cue, here comes our taxi. Ray, hello. Best taxi I've ever ordered.
Welcome to the miniature railway.
How have you been, all right?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Been very busy.
Excellent. Well, I understand there's a fair bit to show, so, well, without further ado, shall we crack on?
Yeah.
Well, Ray, thanks for having us today. How's life been on the miniature railway?
We've been quite busy. We've got a few projects on the way and we've just made a 90-metre long extension into 4-acre field.
Ideal, which we're just going to go and see.
Absolutely, yes.
So on the line of building work, so around here there's been various bits of switching and points going, and what's the grand plan for down here?
Down here we're going to have a run-round loop and we're going to add signalling down here, which is already under construction.
Excellent. So what would it look like when it's done?
Well, we'll have a run-round loop. One track will be running along the side of us here and rejoin the main line up here, so that trains can actually pass each other.
Now, along the trains, you've had quite a few new locomotives since we last saw you.
Yes, indeed. We've got a steam engine now called Ivor, which, funnily enough, we're just going to pass on the way down to 4-acre
How
field.
handy indeed.
Yes,
it's almost like we planned this.
Yes.
I know. Lovely bit of kit though.
Yes, it is. It's ideally suited to this line as well. Just the right sort of power output for this line.
So I suppose this line we've got quite steep gradients.
Indeed, 1 in
either
40
side.
either side of the main hill here, yes.
Guessing the braking system needs to be quite good on these coaches.
Absolutely. So we've got a new improved braking system now, which we're very pleased with.
Excellent. So how does it work?
It's basically two-way cylinders, so it's air on and air off. And the setup is such that if a brake pipe does become detached, the brakes are automatically applied, so it's fail-safe. The signalling system, we've got two sets of signals at the moment. One protecting the top yard, and this one we're passing now protecting the bottom yard. And we are going to be introducing signals around the station area as well. And we're just passing into 4-acre field now.
Right on cue.
So we've got a 90-metre extension now. So this is 15 track panels. And what you see here is a trench which is 9 inches deep by 30 inches wide. It's backfilled on top of a geotech membrane with 6 inches of crushed concrete that's tamped down, then 3 inches of ballast, and then the track, and then ballast on top of that to secure it.
So, quite a big challenge then. How long did it take you to do all this?
Just over 4 days. That's including clearing the whole field, digging the trench and laying all these panels. I'm manufacturing them.
I mean, that's not bad going.
It's very good indeed. I'm very impressed with what the team did.
Well, can we go up and have a look at see what's coming next?
Absolutely. Shall we do that?
Let's go.
Okay, so we've reached the end of the line here. What we're proposing to do here is we've got about another 40 metres to go. We're going to have a little station with a run round loop and hopefully a turntable at the far end.
So in the sense of usable area, so this field is called 4 acre field. I take it you've got 4 acres to play with?
No, we don't. It's only actually about 2.5 acres.
Of course it is. So how much usable area from a perspective, because I'm assuming if it's too steep you can't do anything with it?
Yes, the railway actually owned the whole field, but as you say, the gradient is so steep from south to north that we can only really use the bottom half of it.
So still a fair bit to play with. I'd say
Yeah.
You've done cracking work here. I like the little the leap into the abyss, but I take it there's going to be a buffer stop for when we start running passenger
Yes,
trains.
this is the temporary limit of the line. We're going to put a full-size sleeper across here just as a stopgap, and then ultimately we'll be laying more track panels to reach the end of the field.
Excellent. Well, shall we go and have a look at the far end?
Indeed, let's do that.
Now that is a lovely view.
Yes, a tremendous view of the main line railway, yes.
It'd be great to have your end station here. So what's this area going to look like?
Yeah, well, once we get the station built here, we'd like to clear a bit of this land to the north so that we can provide a little picnic area, and then hopefully get a viewing platform for the photographers to take pictures of the lovely views you've just mentioned.
Excellent. So I suppose a family coming down for a ride on the miniature railway, you've got somewhere to go to, something to see at the far end, and a nice picnic area as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes a destination for the miniature railway.
I'm guessing the Wednesday gang, I would say have their work cut out, but they probably enjoy going to town on a field like this. It's nice blank canvas.
I'd like to think so, yes. There's plenty of them to have a go at, certainly.
Because yes, you mentioned this tree, one of our conservationists reckoned it can be not felled but trimmed down.
Yes, he reckons it would actually do it good if it was kept to about 4 feet high. So we're going to thin that right down, yes. So we're looking at getting the next 40 metres of track. That's about 7 panels. We're hoping to do that next September.
Excellent. So a lot to look forward to. A nice
Yes.
new station, picnic area, viewing area.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Absolutely, yes, yes. Shall we head off back then?
Probably should. I won't
Yes.
keep you any longer. Thank you again, Ray.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Well, Ray, a lot going on. It's great to see how far you guys have got, especially in
Yes.
just 4 days.
Absolutely. I mean, we've done 90 metres, which I think is an incredible achievement over that space of time.
Definitely. It'd be great to see the finished result, wouldn't it?
But another 40 metres should get us to the end of the line, and that's about another 7 track panels.
It'd be great to see it.
Yeah,
All great.
indeed. Looking forward to it now.
And so are we, Ray. Thank you so much for chatting to us today and showing us around.
You're very welcome, guys. Very welcome.
That's it from us this time, folks. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.